wanted to talk about one of my favorite Henson productions, Dog City, the Jim Henson Hour episode. What was it like working on that?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was man, those sets were beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything about it was great.
That must have been a more for a one episode of a TV show. That must have been a pretty elaborate.
Very
shoot.
expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive. Well, it was a part of the Jim Henson Hour.
Right.
It was the second half was always some kind of really cool, either storyteller
right.
or So the Canadian one of the Canadian writers wrote that, and it was wonderful. It was hysterical. It was based on that the velvet. The velvet picture with the painting of the dogs playing pool.
Yeah.
And so that's where all of that came from.
Sure.
But I love Ralph the dog, was in that, as the narrator, and Ace U, and
right.
But the cars, though, all of the period pieces of it was wonderful. The cobblestones and the subways. I mean, it was wonderful. They spent a great deal of money. And that was Val. I forget Val's last name, but you guys probably know that he did a lot of the designs. Set designs he was phenomenal. I forget where you guys should look at him.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
Brilliant. And I forget where he lived, maybe Quebec or something like that. But he did the designs of Dog City, and I think he did Treasure Island too.
Oh, cool.
This guy was amazing.
Yeah,
and John Rook was our celebrated lighting guy that would do all of the TV stuff and everything.
Oh, okay.
Who unfortunately not with us. He was amazing lighting guy.
And then, was that your first leading role in a production, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think, Jim asked me, go for it, try it.
Oh,
it
that's
was wonderful. Cool. I mean, I loved his dog, but it was Bugsy.
Bugsy them.
Bugsy that. HU. I mean, all those jokes was hysterical.
Yeah.
And
it's
that
really funny.
beautiful bar that they had in the movie, I mean, in the television special, that bar was gorgeous. Everything was just, top notch.
Yeah.
It was fun. The costumes, everything.
But somehow Jim Henson Hour and Muppets Tonight also, they didn't last very long. Do you have any thoughts on why people just didn't watch those shows?
Listen, for me, the Jim Henson Hour, man, a pilot that he did for that was phenomenal. And what it was really, it started, I don't know if you guys know this, but it started, the pilot started with him in the New York workshop that they designed in the studio. But it was exactly what you would see if you went into the New York workshop. And so it had this more New York down and dirty feel, with boxes all over the place. And he'd pull out and the Muppet would pop out, and or he opened this big cupboard, and then the bird looking character from one of the storytellers would pop out, and so it had this. What I liked about it is it out of all of this that you don't like a workshop, like Captain Kangaroo opened it, but it had this really nice charm about it because it had that edge that it was in New York, it was in Manhattan, you could see the Manhattan skyline out the window and everything, and that was nice. That was really cool. And then when it was sold, they decided to go with this whole automat opening, computer generated with steps coming down and everything. And I just thought it lost its appeal to me. It lost its personal feel of how Jim is through the magic that he does, and also how he would show an opening, how Jim would open it. Remember Disney would be there, and there was an office, and then Mickey would animated come over and everything. It was more real and more what I would see Jim as, if it was behind the scenes.
Right.
And so it just got too elaborate and too detailed for me. I think we were trying too hard to be clever. Instead of just going to the basics of, okay, what makes us laugh?
Yeah.
Instead of the futuristic stuff,
Was there a lot of pressure to kind of make the next Muppet Show?
I think that's always the case.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's very hard and challenging for for it to happen. You know?
Yeah.
Because we want to top, and you can't. I mean, it was an era that it worked, and you know, and you can't. I don't think you can really, you know, put that back together and make that work exactly the way it was before. So I know he had a challenge with it. And, you know, it was not happy times for him with that show.
Oh, when it was canceled?
Well, yeah, and you know, he was hoping that maybe, you know, he'd have a chance to maybe revamp it and do it again, but no, at that point the ship had sailed.
I'd like to ask real quick about one of my favorite movies is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I had a question about that here.
Yeah, well, how did that come about that you got to play Splinter?
Yeah, because Dinosaurs happened after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1. I don't know. Brian just asked me would I be interested in doing the Rat, and I said okay.
Oh, all right.
So, was it always the case that it was going to be your voice? Because all the other characters had the voices dubbed by voice actors, but Splinter is you.
Yeah, I really don't know. I think they probably was talking about it, but once they heard what I came up with, they were fine with it. I loved doing that movie. Both of them, 1 and 2, was the best. I loved. I gotta get his name, the director, because he was wonderful.
That was Barron?
Steve Barron. Boy, you good. Steve was brilliant. Steve was so smart because, you know, that was based off of a magazine and then went into merchandising. So it was more of a trendy comic book thing.
Right.
That had a huge following. And then, you know, they did want to do a movie. And Steve had this vision of, you know, these are turtles and it's a rat. Now, I don't want to make this kitty with a lot of light and all of this stuff. I don't want to do that. I want to, you know, I want to make it grungy. And I thought, the brilliance of the whole opening. Remember the whole opening was there was a well-known skateboard guy.
Right.
That did the legs of
oh yeah.
I forget what turtle.
Where you just get glimpses of them.
The whole opening sequence was, you know, this guy. The skateboard, you know, just the legs of one of the turtles, you know, skateboarding through the sewage system, you know, underneath the subways. I mean, you know where the subways. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it had this really hip, you know, cool edge about it, and so everything was dark. They put all this KY was always on Splinter, and the turtles were always wet, but it was not bright at all, you know, everywhere that they were at, and I thought that gave a really cool feel and hipness and illusion that really worked. I mean, when we watched dailies and stuff, we were like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
We knew, you know, and at the same time, Golden Harvest was losing their mind because some of the days, if one turtle goes down. None of the turtles can be shot,
right.
And Splinter was hardwired, so it was easy to shoot with him. The turtles were radio controlled.
Hand puppet?
Well, he was a hand puppet, but they had, he was hardwired. There was some mechanical stuff to him.
Yeah.
But by being hardwired, it was direct. And when you're doing it with radio control, you know, you get interference from a lot of stuff all the time.
Right.
You see, the turtles had to run around. They couldn't have a cord, you know, hanging. You know, you never. If you saw Splinter 4, you would see me. So they had, you know, they could hide all of that, but they couldn't hide it with the turtles. And so if something went down, so Golden Harvest was really livid. They were so pissed with the Creature Shop and Henson and stuff like that. But we were looking at dailies and we were like, you idiots, got this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I understand. I mean, it was their money.
Yeah.
But I remember. Well, it was great. I remember being actually at Disney World, and we were shooting the Muppets Go to Disney World, and while we were shooting it, that was the weekend that the Ninja Turtles opened.
Oh.
And I was standing with Jim when he got a little slip, you know, one of his, you know, Henson cards and everything, saying that the box office is, I mean, off the roof that weekend with the Ninja Turtle movie.
Yeah.
And he was like, cool, but then he got pissed. He was like, Golden Harvest giving us all this, you know.
Sure.
flack and everything about the movie, and look at it. It's #1.
Yeah, it was huge.
Matter of fact, he had taken all of us individually out to dinner while we were down there, and we drove past, and it was the night that he took me out to dinner. And it was a long line around the movie theater. And all these little kids with their swords and their masks and everything, and the turtle shield and everything. It was so cute. And seeing an usher come out of the theater and having to tell the parents that there's no more tickets left.
Oh, it's sold out.
And we stopped, and Jim and I watched, and these kids losing their minds. They get in the car and go home. Actually, that's when he told me that he really loved that Elmo was doing real well and everything. It was we had a good time. I mean, he had some projects that he was going to do at Disney. It was so cool.
Yeah, we hear about stuff every once in a while.
You hear about the one with Andrew Lloyd Webber. They were going to do.
They were going to do the stage musical. Is that
no? It was it was like a 12 to 15 minute Noah's Ark type thing with animals, and they were going to use the smart heads where the dancers would have free range. They wouldn't have and they were talking about doing that. It was some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And we got to do it.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it seemed like he was full of ideas.
We heard that there's buzz about another Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, I've been hearing that. It's now that Nickelodeon bought them out. There's a new show coming, and then they're hoping to do another movie.
Yeah, there's new animation.
I heard Henson might be involved in the new movie, too.
Oh, really?
They might do something like they did with Where the Wild Things Are.
Well, I've been rumbling about how is this playing again?
Well, did you ever see the third one? You weren't involved in that one, were you?
Yeah, I saw the third one. I thought it really did.
Where they went in a different direction with the puppet.
And it was, the thing is, it had, it had nothing to do with, the director was really cool, because I think he was the same one that did the second one. But Golden Harvest never liked the way Steve directed the first one.
Oh, I want to ask how aware you are of the sort of Elmo backlash from like the 20-somethings and 30-somethings, people who grew up with the earlier incarnations of Sesame Street and maybe are a little suspicious of Elmo horning in on the show.
Suspicious?
Yeah, like I just wondered if you had a reaction to that.
No, you know what? The thing is that the child is going to tell you who they're going to watch and who they're going to enjoy watching. That's it.
Yeah.
If I came in to say, this is going to happen, that's nobody knows, and there's no crystal ball. Our audience tells us who they want to watch and who they're learning from, and that's really it.
Yeah, I mean, the show is for kids.
Let's put it this way: this little ribbon wants to help keep the show on, for everybody to see their favorite characters, and so that's one thing I would say about the people who are saying that there's a backlash. Think about that, because that's what we all want after it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And like I said, if I don't think the little character's doing any damage. I think he's doing more for helping the show stay on and us to still continue to do and enjoy what we do and keep Jim's legacy going.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask, your title Muppet Captain, what does that mean? What are your duties as the Muppet Captain?
Well, it's like more like a foreman type thing.
Okay.
It's where I'm in the production meetings to make sure to deal with the puppet content of it and everything, and casting the shows and stuff like that as far as secondary characters and everything.
Right, like who's going to play the background?
Yeah, who's gonna do the Grouch in this scene and Pig in this scene.
Right.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we need to start wrapping things up. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and thank you again for the great documentary. I hope everyone who's watching this video goes out and sees it.
Yeah, we do too.
Please say hi to Elmo for us.
I will.
And I don't know, like Leon and
and Clifford
and Baby Sinclair if you happen to see him ever.
And Splinter.
And Splinter.
Goodbye.